Hi. Yeah, here's a lesson on how to play the solo from Hotel California by the Eagles. Um, this solo is played by two guitarists from the Eagles, Don Felder and Joe Walsh, and they are taking turns to play their part, and sometimes they overlap each other. The first part is Felder's part, and it goes something like this. Yes. And so the first leg is taking a slide from G4 to G11. Then we pick B10 and hammer on to B12. So after that we do a 1.5 step bend. We're aiming for this note right here. So. And we keep it up there the whole time. Not we do not release slow like this. We do not do this. So we stay up here. Then we release and pick B10. And then we pick B12. And then we pick G9. Right? Yeah, the next lick is so pick G7, pick G9, pick B7, and once again pick G7, and do a little micro bend. And then we pick D8. Add some vibrato. Okay, then we move up to G4 and we do a hammer on from G4 to G6 and after that a pull off from G6 to G4. Okay. Oh, sorry. After that we pick D7 and then we bend it a half step. Release and slide down. Okay, so after that we do this lick, sorry, down here. Okay, so the first time we pick G7, G9, B7, back to G7, and do that little micro bend. And then we pick D9 to D8 and back to D9. Okay, so that's the first time. Next time, almost the same, but you don't do this. we do this, which is D9 to D7 twice. So the last, the second half of this lick is all together. Okay. So up to now we've got this. Oh, sorry. Okay. You could rake into the first one. Okay. So after this, the next lick is, sorry. Yeah, it's a bit longer. But we do a full bend on B10. And while holding that one, we pick E10. Then we pick the B string, still bended in the 10th fret, and then we release, pick B7, pick B10, and then pick B8 and do a half step bend. So then we bar across the B and the E string and pick E7 and B7, and then we do a full bend on E10. And release it and pick again. And after that, we pre-bend it up to this note, and then we release. So we got this. Okay. Then we pick E7. We pick B10 and do a full bend, but we kind of we do not let it ring a very long time, so we're killing it right there. And also while holding that bend, we pick E10, but only a short note. So then we go back to this bended B string, pick it again and release. And then we pick B8. So then we rake, strum twice before bending G9 a whole step, and while holding that one, we pick E10, just a short note, back to this bended G string, and release up to G7, slide back to G6, and back to G7. So this goes like this. Okay, after that part we play this lick. which is the last part of this first the first part, the part played by Don Felder. So what we do here is play G7 to G9, play B7 and do a half step bend, do it again, and release. Back to G9 and to G7. Repeat that, but this time we do 3 of these half step bend. Okay. Now we finish up with doing a full bend on G9, pick B7, pick B10, and then once again full bend on G9 and bar across and pick B7 and E7. So, and finally, so pick G9, do a bend and a release, pull off to G7, and then pick G9, do a bend, and add a vibrato. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's the first section. So now Joe Walsh comes in and plays the next part of the solo. He starts off by playing something almost identical to what we've heard from Felder. So his part goes like this. So the first thing he does is the same as Felder just did. So full bend on the G9, pick B7 to B10, and then he once again full bend on G9, then bar across B7 and E7, and pick those. So. Then he does something a little Chuck Berry-like, which is just full bend on G9, bar across, and pick those 2 notes. So. Okay, then he does a full bend on G9 and release. Hammer off to, pull off to G7, pick G9 and hammer off to G7 again. So, okay, and then we pick G9 and do a full bend, add some vibrato. But in the end of this, he does this funny slide where he slides off just as far off than up the strings that you can reach. Okay, so. Sorry. Okay, the next part we start off with a big 1.5 step bend on G11. So we're aiming for this. And you do a slow release. Then you pick G9, pick G11, pick G7 and add a little bend, and then D9. Okay, the next part is so full bend on B10, then pick E7, back to B10, and pull off to B7. So then pick B10 and slide to B12. Then pick E10, pick B12 and slide back to B11. Then pick B10 and B9. You finish up with one more slide up the neck. Forgot to slide from 12 to 11, it doesn't really matter, but okay. Next part goes like this. Okay, so which is a bend from G14, but it's I don't know what it's called, a graduated bend perhaps. Not just full bend right away, but slowly building up. And when you reach that note, you pick B12. Then you pick B15. You pick B17. Pull off to B15. Okay, full bend on B17. Pick E17. Back to the bended B string. Pick it and release. Pick B15. Pick B17 and pull off to B15. Okay, so the next part, it could be a little tricky. For me at least, it is tricky. You have to, I'll show it. This is the tricky part, because you have to make this bend on the E string, and while you bend you have to catch the B string and pick that one and release it, all in one motion. And I guess my action is too high. I can't. My finger goes underneath the B string. So what I do is I pick this B17, do a full bend, and then while picking E15, E16, and E17, instead of holding my, what is this, the index finger? I don't know. But instead of holding this finger just on the E string, I bar across here, mostly because then I force the B string to be lower, giving it a lower action, and that optimizes the chances that I can catch the B string. So I say, and now we do this full bend on the E17. And now I've caught the B string in the 17th fret, and I can pick it and release, and then go back and pick B15. Sorry. Okay, I think this is pretty hard to play for me at least. So after doing that, you do okay. So that's just a quick. You pick B17 and a quick pull off to B15, and then you do a full bend on B17. Pick E17, and perhaps you should, right after you have picked the E17, you could lift your finger, because we do not want this note to ring while we go back and pick the released B string and lower it just not even a semitone, just a little bit, and up again. I think we pick it while we're taking it back up to the full bend. So repeat that. And the third time, or the thing we finish off with is so a pre-bend, release, and pick B15, and then pick E17, and do a full bend and some vibrato. Okay, so at this point, Don Felder comes back and plays a little part of the solo here, but there's a little overlap from what we just heard from Walsh and what Felder is playing here, because the last thing that is played by Walsh is this, and on top of this, Felder plays, which is a half-step bend from B14, pre-bended, I think, and then release it, and then pick B12, and then you pick B12 once again, but this time you do a 1.5 step bend. So it's this note we're aiming for. Okay, so on top of this, we hear. Okay, the next part is. Okay, so it's a B13 full step bend. Pick E10. Repeat that. Make it a little staccato, I think. Okay, then we do a. I think it's a full step bend on G7. Release it. Pull off to G7. Pick D9. Pull off to D8. Slide up to B11. So. This is the way I play it. I think it's not correct. Actually, I think instead of that bend, I think you ought to slide down. But you could do it the way you prefer. I do it this way. Okay, that was a little part from Felder. Okay, so now Walsh takes over and play this little part. Okay, so what you do here is you pick B17 and E17 simultaneously, and then you do a full bend on the B string. Okay, and now we do not want to hear the E string anymore, so just release that one. Do not touch it anymore, and then you go pick the bended B string 9 times while you slowly release it. So But while releasing it, you should try to add some vibrato, which makes it more, gives it some kind of crying effect. Yeah, I think it's very individual how you play that one. But so you pick both strings, do a full bend, and then you pick the bended B string 9 times, releasing it while adding some vibrato. And after the 9 picks, you do this, which is pull off from B17 to B15, and then pick G16, go back and pick B17, pick B15, and do a little bend before picking G16. Okay. Okay, then you pick G14, pick D16, pick D14, slide up to D12, pick D14, and slide up to D16, and finish off by picking G14. Okay. Okay, so from this point on, the rest of the solo is all harmony. Two guitars on top of each other, and must say I'm not quite sure about who plays which part. But I think this next part is Felder's, and it goes something like this. And then we're ready for, But this part starts off with a full bend on G14. Then you pick B15. We're not trying to let these two notes ring simultaneously. It's not like so. And after that you pick G14 and then B14. So, and then you do the same for G12 and B12. Okay, I don't know if this is the correct position on the fretboard, but this is how I play it. You go down to D16, pick that, pick G14, repeat that just 2 frets that way, so that would be D12 and G10. Okay, then you pick A12 and D12, back to A12, then you pick A10 and slide back to A9. Then you pick A10 and slide to A12, then D12, Then you go to E14 up here, short note there, and then you pick E12 and pull off to E10. And on the G string, 12th fret, you do a 4 bend, release it, and pick 11. Okay. Okay, then we play which is G11 and G12. Pick G12 once again, then go to B10, then you pick B11 and do a half step bend right away, and release it, and pick it again, add some vibrato. Then go to B14, B15, B17. Okay, so while Felder plays, Walsh playing something else on top or beneath, and it goes like this. Okay, so that part is start off with a full bend on the G9, then bar across the B and the E string in the 7th fret and pick E7, pick B7, then pick B10, then pick D7 and B7, then pick G7 and G9. Then we pick D7 and G7. After that, after that we pick A9 and back to D7. So sorry. Okay, so we're here now, and then we pick A9, A7, slide back to A5. Okay, so we're here, and now we pick A7, slide up to A9, pick D7. Okay, then we pick B7, pick B10 and pull off to B7. and then we do a full bend on G9 and release. And finish off by picking G7. So and the last thing we hear here from Walsh, sounds a little definitive though, but in this part is so we pick G7 to G9, G9 once again to B7, do a half step bend on the B7 and release it. You go to B11, B12, B14. On top of each other, these two parts would sound something like this. Okay, so we're moving on to the outro part with the two guitars playing harmonies on top of each other. We start out with the high-pitched part, which I think is played by Felder. It goes like this. Yeah, you have to aim. Yeah, we start out in with E14 to E10 to B12. Yeah, we play that 5 times. Okay, then we move down to B12, B12 to B9, sorry, E12 to E9, and to B11. Yeah, we play that twice. The third time we only play B12 to E12 to E9. So, and from here we slide up to the 18th fret of the E string. Okay, so we proceed with E12 to E9 to B10. Play that 5 times. Okay, then we move up to E10 to E7 to B9. Play that 2 times. And the third time we only play E10 to E7, and then we slide up to the 16th fret. Yeah. After this, we pick once again E10 to E7, but now B8. Five times. And now we could stretch here and say, but I prefer playing it here. So bar across the E and the B string in the 10th fret and play E10, B10 and G11. And the third time here and slide up to B19. Okay, then we go and play, which is E7 to B8 and G9. Play that 5 times. Okay, now we finish off by playing E9 to E6 to B7. And the third time only E9 to E6 and then slide up to E14. Sorry. Okay. That's the part which I think is played by Felder. Okay, here is the other guitar, the lower part, which I believe is played by Joe Walsh. It sounds like this. Okay, so we start off here in the on E10 to E7 to B7. We play that 5 times. Okay, then we move to this figure, which is E9 to E6 to B7. Play that twice, and the third time we only play E9 to E6. Then we slide up to E14. Sorry. Okay, from here we play, which is E9 to E5 to B5. Play that 5 times. Okay, then we play E7 to E4 to B5 2 times. Third time only E7 to E4 and slide to the to E12. Okay, then we play this. E7 to E3 to B3 5 times. Oh, sorry. And then we play E5 to E2 to B3 2 times. And third time only slide up to 10th fret. Okay, then we play E3 and what's that called? E0, loose string, and then B3. Ah, sorry. loose B string also. So I don't know if it's called 0, but E3, E0, B0. Okay, and then we play E6 to E2 and B2 twice. And the third time we play and slide to 9th fret of the E string. If you put these two parts on top of each other, it would sound something like this. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you have enjoyed.